Yo, what's up guys, it is Roush, and welcome to the team analysis and preview for my Week 4 match of the Castle League. It is going to be versus the Denver Keldios, coached by Vesuvius. Now, I had a pretty interesting match last week. If you want to go ahead and check that out, I'll make sure to leave a previous match in the description. In fact, I may just end up making a playlist out of all of these matches in a row. Actually, I'll do that, make that easier. Yeah, link to the playlist is going to be down below. And anyway, we're going to get started with our Week 4 matchup. Again, it's versus Vesuvius, and as we are now 2-1 with that beautiful victory last week. So this is Vesuvius's team. If you look at it, he's got a couple of really interesting mons. He's got a very nice Firewater Grass offensive core, but then kind of a bulky Dragon Fairy Steel core in the middle as well. Just stuff that takes hits generally well. Gardevoir can be pretty bulky. Mega Sableye is pretty bulky. Kartana can take physical hits if need be, but definitely weak on the special side. And yeah, that's going to be something that I want to keep in mind as I'm building my team. Manaphy, very offensive threat. Kartana is very much a physically offensive threat. Its only stat that comes close is its physical defense, but again, as I said, it can take a physical hit, but it's not really bulky. Mega Sableye, whom Vesuvius hasn't brought yet, so I just wanted to keep in the back of my mind, yes, indeed, he could bring it, he just hasn't yet. Porygon 2, he's used it well, in his first match, he used it as a Trick Room Sweeper, so he definitely has a lot of gall in using that Porygon 2, so I don't know what he'll bring with regards to that. Rotom Heat, kind of interesting defensive type combination, especially because it's immune to ground, which normally it would be 4 times weak to because of its levitate ability. Now, I do have a Mold Breaker Mon on my team, and that is Pangoro, but it's Pangoro is not really going to be using Earthquake. That's not what it's going to be there for. Gardevoir, Toxicroak, Drampa, all kind of offensive mons, setup mons with Toxicroak and Drampa. Drampa with its Berserk ability. Man, that ability is really cool. Gardevoir, in the first match, was used more as a Trick Room Sweeper, and in the second match, just more of a support utility. So once again, this team has a little bit of a variation to it. Not too much, but just enough that it can make a difference. Let's see, Drampa, Lycanroc Midnight is his only form of hazard setting in the form of Stealth Rocks. Quilladin is his only other hazard setter in the form of Spikes. His only clear is Kartana, so if I can get Stealth Rocks up, most likely I'll be able to keep them up for the entirety of the game. So I kind of wanted to keep that in mind as I was team building, but once again, he's got kind of a mixed team, kind of bulky. A lot of his mons are bunched up in the speed department, so hopefully I can take advantage of that. But otherwise, again, gotta be really careful. You don't know what is coming. Now, what I'm expecting, based on what my team is majority weak to, I see Manaphy, I see Kartana, I see Reuniclus, I see Porygon 2, I see Gardevoir, and I see Toxicroak, because they all form a significant threat to my team, but as with any good team build, I try to make sure that I countered as many different sets, as many different mons as I could, and have the ability to take them out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Give me just a second, I forgot to prep something, namely my team. Alrighty here. Number 1, we have Manectric, Lightning Rod with a Choice Scarf, Switcheroo, Volt Switch, Flamethrower, Thunder. Volt Switch is probably going to be used a lot. If you looked at that team preview, he has no electric immunity. He has no ground type. He's only got resistances. Kartana is a resist, but that gets rocked by Flamethrower. But for the most part, I'm gonna be using the Volt Switch to just get some momentum and some chip damage on stuff and things. Switcheroo is there just in case all of the things that I need Manectric to be scarfed for are gone, namely Z, Rain Dance, Manaphy, and that Kartana itself, alongside maybe a surprise Scarf Mon somewhere in the middle. But Manectric is there to outspeed. Now Manectric, because it can't outspeed Kartana naturally, because Kartana has 109 speed, I decided to just speed creep for the Manaphy, which is why you see the spread here. The rest is going in special defense so that I can better take a Surf from a Manaphy. So Manectric is has a guarantee 1 switch. Now, can get critical, although a Manaphy Surf is only doing a maximum of 70%, so I can live a few crits. I think I have like a 10% chance, or no, not a 10, a little bit less than 50% chance of living a critical hit. But again, Manectric is going to be my primary switch-in because it is Choice Scarf. It does outspeed a Z Rain Dance, and Thunder does an automatic 90%. So if I get rocks up, offensive Manaphy dies to Thunder, and if it's not offensive Manaphy, then I can do a fair amount of chip damage with the Thunder and then move from there. Next one on my team is going to be Mutated Chicken, the Blaziken. Blaze ability because that's the only form I can have it with. Baton Pass, High Jump Kick, Flare Blitz, Night Slash. Notice, once again, this is another Choice Scarf mod. This is here mainly for the Toxicroak. Gotta call it Krogunk all the time. Mainly for the Toxicroak, because everything else on my team dies to the Swords Dance set. So Blaziken is here to ensure that I do not lose to a Swords Dance Toxicroak. Now, I have ways of dealing with other variants of Toxicroak, especially the special attacking set, but for the most part, Blaziken takes out Toxicroak. If it is not in the rain, Flare Blitz does 107% minimum to a dry skin Toxicroak, and High Jump Kick is kind of their first spam boom move. Does help take care of Porygon too. Flare Blitz is there for pretty much everything else. Night Slash is there just in case I want to take down a Reuniclus. It does have that chance to critical. So just a really solid option overall. Next mon that I'm going to be bringing is Played with Fire Heatran. Substitute, Protect, Lava Bloom, and Toxic with the Leftovers item. Definitely more of a specially defensive, bulky spread. This is because my opponent does have a lot of slower mons, and he does have a few Trick Room setters. So just in case Trick Room ends up being an issue, Sub-Protect Heatran can be used to stall out those turns and maybe pass some status in the form of Lava Plume Toxic. This set pretty much is guaranteed to beat Mega Sableye unless he's carrying a surprise Hidden Power Ground. I don't expect him to, but I can stall out most forms of that with Sub-Protect and hopefully be able to come up with a victory. Now, granted, I don't have much to do in return to maybe a Calm Mind set, but just being able to wear it down maybe with a burn, keep it on the recover track is very useful. But other than that, Heatran just takes hits from so many mons on his team if they aren't carrying fighting coverage. And most of their fighting coverage is going to be limited to Focus Blast or Hidden Power fighting, and maybe somebody wants to bring Hidden Power Ground. But otherwise, Heatran takes hits for days. It resists Psychic, it resists Fairy, it resists Ice, which is something that a lot of his team has coverage for. So Vesuvius, well, watch out, this Heatran is here to stall, and hopefully we'll have a match that's more than like 25 turns, because I don't think I've had a match longer than 25 turns yet, despite my best efforts. Next one, this is probably going to be my lead. It is the Focus Sash Arena Trap Dugtrio. However, if I do use it as a lead, I need to be careful. I want to keep my Focus Sash intact just in case there's a Scarf Kartana on the field. Earthquake, Stealth Rocks, HP Fire, and Memento. Memento is pretty much there if Kartana dies and everything else that Dugtrio needs to trap dies, and I have somebody who I want to bring it back up to higher health, say maybe Heatran, maybe Blaziken takes a little too much recoil and I feel like it can still do some work. That exists. If Manectric needs to be healed, not healed, jeez. If Manectric wants to come in and pressure my opponent, I do have Memento to help me gain that kind of offensive pressure. This is not Z Memento, you idiot. Stealth Rock's there, set him up, and then switch out. Earthquake is a very spammable move, and Hidden Power Fire, with my investment, actually KOs any any offensive variant of Kartana. I think that's just a really cool tech on my part, and hopefully we don't have to use it. Hopefully we can just take out Kartana with Scarf Electric, but just in case there is a Scarf Kartana, Dugtrio is going to be the mon to be able to take care of that. Alrighty. And the 5th member of our team is Broca, like the Primarina. It's going to be Assault Vested this week, because once again, my opponent has some very kind of special attacking mons. Primarina takes special hits for days. Hydro Pump, Psychic, Energy Ball, and Moon Blast. Now, Primarina doesn't really have a form of recovery, but for the most part, this is going to be able to take care of Tail Glow, Manaphy, Hydro Pump, Psychic, are going to be there just for coverage. Psychic is there if I want to predict a Toxicroak switch in, and I have a better way of dealing with that, especially if a water move is imminent. Energy Ball, once again, is going to be there for that Manaphy. It should do about, I want to say it was 50 to 60% to an offensive Manaphy, and Manaphy in return only does about 44 to 52, something like that. Moonblast is there just to spam, maybe get some special attack drops, but Primarina is just going to be there to take a couple of special hits, especially if especially for the mons that Heatran can't really take care of. Last mon on my team is going to end up being my Cleaner. Now, he's probably, I hope, Memento can be used to set up for Pangoro. It's kind of an interesting set. Drain Punch, Knockoff, Substitute, Bulk Up with the Scrappy ability. This is mainly so that I can take care of Mega Sableye. So if he Megas, then Pangoro is free to set up any space, get a Substitute, live pretty much any hit, unless he's carrying a random Dazzling Gleam. I guess maybe Mega Sableye gets Dazzling Gleam. But Drain Punch enables me to hit it for super effective damage. Does the most damage. Knockoff is just there. Sub Bulk Up, there to take hits and deal damage. As you look at my spread, I'm very specially defensive, and this EV spread is actually really specific. Now, a normal form of Porygon 2 has 156 speed. That is a fully defensive investment. And given my EV spread, I can take unboosted, which shouldn't be getting boosted. So my defense is higher. My defense is higher, so that way Porygon 2 will be getting an attack raise if he's download. Otherwise, Scrappy not really does anything for my team if he's traced. So Drain Punch helps take care of that, but I do live an unboosted Thunderbolt or Ice Beam from Porygon 2, and I can hold my substitute for a single turn. The max it does is 24.6%, and that's what this EV spread is here for. And then Bulk Up, deal some damage. Pangoro is probably going to be my main sweeper this week, just in case Toxicroak does come. Again, I need to be wary of Toxicroak, and it needs to go down first. That's also something else Dugtrio can take care of. If he is a Scarf or a Nasty Plot variant of Toxicroak, if there are no rocks on the field, Dugtrio can revenge kill it. But Pangoro is probably going to be the mon who cleans up for us this week with the excellent Jewel Stab and the ability to hit the Mega Sableye for super effective damage. So that's going to be the team for this week. Hopefully we're going to have some fun. Once again, I did have a lot of fun last week, even though it was a nail-biter of a match. But hopefully with a couple of kind of unconventional sets. I love the Hidden Power Fire Tech on Dugtrio. I could see him predicting that, but I'm not overly concerned. Heatran is probably going to play a role if there's Trick Room. Especially because I am running dual Scarfers, because I need to outspeed certain mons and be able to take hits from certain mons. And so I felt that to be a necessity. Otherwise, I'm carrying a pretty quick team. So I definitely wanted a counter to Trick Room. I could end up swapping Toxic for Taunt, or Protect for Taunt, something for Taunt. And maybe even Substitute. I might drop Substitute for Taunt on Heatran just to make sure that I'm not getting trick roomed on. You know what? Let's do that. We're gonna put Taunt over Substitute on Heatran. So Heatran's gonna be Protect, Lava Plume, Toxic, Taunt, just so that I can rack up some more residual damage and not have to worry about getting recovered on. That helps a ton, I think. I mean, it doesn't affect Sableye, but it's just gonna be good overall. Okay, cool. Anyways, that's gonna be the team for this week. And yeah, match comes up tomorrow. Let's have some fun, guys. And I will see you next time and next week for another team preview.